Hey, what's up? My name is Daoud Heidami. I am a real estate agent, co-founder, and principal of the Catalyst team at Compass. And welcome to a New York conversation where we talk to notable New Yorkers about their New York. Our goal is also to support small businesses. So we'll do some interviews and we'll tag the small businesses when we repost the interview. So tonight's special guest is David Lindsay-Abaire, who is a wonderful person, one of my favorite human beings, actually. He is a playwright, lyricist, and screenwriter. He received a Pulitzer Prize for drama in 2007 for his play Rabbit Hole, which he also received Tony Award nominations for that play and multiple others. So we're going to get DLA on today. We're going to make this happen. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Amazing. I don't know what you did, but I can see your face.
That's all that matters, man. The sad, sad face. I'm glad to see yours.
That is not true. You have a beautiful, amazing face, and I am not only a huge fan of you professionally, but I'm a huge fan of you just as a human being. You're just a wonderful person. And I have to say, and how we know each other is I was fortunate enough to be cast in your show, Ripcord at Manhattan Theater Club. And I got to know you a little bit. And, I feel very lucky to have you in my life.
And you, man. Right back at you. You're one of the sweetest, kindest people I know, and most talented, obviously. But not all talented people are always sweet and nice the way you are. So well, I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. So thank you for coming on today. And you're a New Yorker. So the whole premise of this was we started it because we were talking about like how New York, there's all this like ridiculousness about how New York is dead, which is not. I was like, let me bring on my New York friends, and I want to hear about your New York. And just because do you feel it? How do you, where I know, do you feel the renaissance that I'm experiencing? If New York feels different than it's ever has?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I never believed that, New York is dead thing. I think we got a little sleepy for a while because we were all scared, justifiably. And I think we're still scared, but New York perseveres always. That's the best thing about us. So even at the scariest of moments, it was still very much, we were doing everything we could and stepping up. And now it feels like we're coming back, fingers crossed, theater in particular.
Yes.
Things have been announced. People they're apparently doing performances.
Yes.
God, I hope so.
Yes. So one of the Passover is actually open on Broadway, which is amazing. Yep. And then, we're seeing a flood of all of these new announcements happening, which is great.
Yep.
Everyone's in rehearsals. And so tell me about your New York. How did you first arrive to New York? I know you're originally from Mass. But so how did you find your way to New York?
Boston, Mass. I studied at Sarah Lawrence, which is just a little north of New York City. And, I studied theater. And if you study theater and hope to pursue a career in theater, New York seems like a pretty logical place to end up. So I set my sights there, and that's what brought me here. I wanted a career in theater. And of course, you can have a career in theater anywhere in the country, but this was the place that I was most excited about. It's a place that you grow up knowing about, watching the Tonys all the time. So let me try in New York and see what happens.
And where did you move to? Like, what was the first neighborhood you moved to?
My wife and I, although we weren't married in the beginning, but my girlfriend, who became my wife and is still my wife, our first neighborhood was Carroll Gardens. And we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment on the top of a brownstone and paid $700. And we stayed there 6 years.
Oh.
And the rent was never raised. We had the kindest landlord.
What?
It was an amazing setup. He lived in like the bottom duplex, and then there was just an empty apartment in the middle, and then us on the top floor. And I think he was just so relieved to have relatively sane people living in his house that he didn't want us to leave. So he never raised our rent.
That's unheard of, especially in a townhouse in Carroll Gardens.
No joke. No joke.
700 bucks. That's amazing.
You know, if my wife didn't get pregnant, we'd probably still be living there now. But we needed a little more space, and we moved from apartment to apartment.
And then have you? Because I know you live in Brooklyn now. Have you always been in Brooklyn, or did you ever rove to like Manhattan and any? Nope, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. From that first Carroll Gardens apartment, we would move like 5 blocks away and suddenly would be in Cobble Hill. It was a new, I mean, you're a real estate guy, you know, you move 4 blocks and you're in a totally different neighborhood.
Yeah.
And wherever we moved, you know, the real estate market was booming. And so we would get an apartment and that owner would sell and we'd get kicked out. And so we'd move to another apartment 3 blocks away and someone would buy that building and then we'd get kicked out again. So that went on for several years until finally, we actually bought a house in Ditmas Park, which is where we live now in Prospect Park South.
Yes. So your house has actually been in many newspaper articles about one specific holiday tradition. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. It seems like I get way more press for our Halloween decorations that I have for any play I've ever written. So
that is not true. That is not true.
I think it might be actually. Yeah, when we moved in, there was a neighbor that lived a couple blocks away and said, "Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. We host the Halloween parade, but our kids are older now. Do you want to inherit it?" And so at the time, the Halloween parade was just like some local families would get together in costume and walk to the end of the block. And that was the Halloween parade in our neighborhood. And so not knowing what we were getting into, we said, sure. And I love Halloween.
Yes.
And I said, hold on, my phone's slipping a little bit. I said, if we do this, then I'm going to need some decorations. And so I started getting some animatronics, you know, a few zombies, a couple witches. And then the next year I got a few more. And now I have probably 60 animatronics. And that small little parade of family has grown to many, many more people. And it's quite an event. And it started getting press and all of that. So God help me, that's where we are.
It's really unreal. So it sounds like it's a huge ordeal just to put everything up. Or is it like, do you have like a family tradition when you're prepping it? No.
Family tradition, meaning are other people involved in my family?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. My kids have no interest. My wife is supportive, but she's not climbing out and, you know, hanging up spider webs. No, it's me, entirely me. And I get resentful when people are like, who do you hire to do all this? It's like, no, it's only me and a ladder and a hammer over several weekends. I mean, obviously, I love it, so I don't resent it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I get great joy out of doing it, so I do love it.
This is totally a New York. It's totally a New York thing. Like I love your passion for it. So is this something that you're actually like? Are you going? What's the latest technology? And let's nerd out for a second about it.
I mean, there's not a lot of new technology. It's mostly really crappy, badly built animatronics that you can get online. And so every season, there is, of course, a new line of animatronics, and you can get this werewolf or this Beetlejuice or whatever you happen to be interested in. And so this year I've started to maybe think about doing a theme, which I've never done before, but we'll see if I stick to it. It does change every year, the various characters. And you must remember, in Ripcord, there's a scene set in a haunted house.
Of course, yeah.
And you were in very serious zombie makeup. And that's when you probably should have known about my penchant for Halloween back then.
That was one of my favorite scenes in that. There's so many wonderful moments in Ripcord, but that was particularly a fun one to do every night. And as I recall, I think, were we running during October? Were we in Halloween season?
We sure were, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
So obviously you moved from Sarah Lawrence to New York because you were driven and a writer. So that takes care of New York is your place. Why? Right? New York is your place because this is where you do your craft. This is where you've worked your whole life. Was there ever a pull for you to ever like move to New York, excuse me, LA, because you're also a screenwriter, or do you just go there for projects as they come up?
No, I've never had any interest. I mean, I love visiting LA, but I've never felt the pull. Also, because I can have a career, doing film and TV if I'm so interested, and do it from here.
Right.
But my fear is if I ever, left for LA, then I wouldn't be a theater artist. Of course, it's not true, but psychically I would feel that way. And also, I like seasons, and I like the city, and I don't drive, so the LA culture doesn't appeal to me in any way.
Right.
No offense to anyone in LA, but
yeah, I'm 100% on board with
yeah.
this. I feel the exact way. What do you have a favorite New York corner spot?
Well, see, now you did send me this question ahead of time.
I
And
did.
but now, a little bit, it borders on self-promotion. To live in a corner house and all those Halloween decorations go on our wraparound porch. And so that's not why I love this corner. I love it because of all the people that show up. And it really is a neighborhood community that happens. And I'm sitting at this very during the day, and preschool groups will come by and look at the decorations, and nothing brings me more joy than to hear the screams of those preschoolers outside of my house. And so that's why it's my favorite corner, not because of the dumb zombies and witches. It's the people that come and destroy my lawn every year. That's why it's my favorite corner.
Amazing. Amazing. I hope there was a little bit of a little delay there in your story for some reason, but I think that it's fine. We're getting a little bit more of you in the cloudy area than.
Oh,
I'm not sure if you moved your phone or maybe, yeah. Now I kind of lost you.
all right. Do you want me to get out and come back in again, or what do you want to do?
There you go. That's perfect.
You got it?
Boom.
All right. I won't move.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
That's great. Yeah, whatever you just did is amazing. So
right.
was there a moment, or what made you fall in love with New York? Did it have to do with the productions when you were tell me.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, theater is the thing, and I was in love with theater before I came to New York. I would watch the Tonys and see selections when they did selections from plays at the time, but it was just an amazing place to aspire to be. And then I came for a couple school trips, and just the energy of it. I just loved everything about it, and hoped I could come here one day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And was there, because you've been produced all throughout the city, do you have because next we're going to talk a little bit about small businesses, because one of the things that I do is tag some of these small businesses and repost it, so hopefully everyone else goes out and supports some of these small businesses. So theater being one of them, even though theater, there's a lot of theater that needs a lot of support and love. Do you have some theater shout outs, and then what other small businesses that maybe even local small businesses or anywhere in the city that you love?
Sure. I mean, all theater, every theater you can go to, you should visit. There's just so much great theater in New York. It's impossible to pull out one. Manhattan Theater Club has produced every play I've ever written. So, of course, Manhattan Theater Club. It's a great place. I have a new musical opening this fall at the Atlantic Theater. So Atlantic Theater, which is very exciting for me because I've never had a show at the Atlantic, but I've always loved the work that they've done there. Off-Broadway stuff too. I spent so much time and continue to spend so much time on West 4th Street. So not just New York Theater Workshop, but La Mama and all those littler theaters that are on West 4th Street. But again, any theater anywhere, please come. It's what makes New York, New York in such a huge way. Other small businesses, I mean, I have to shout out a local restaurant, this place Whedon, which is on Church Avenue, just a couple blocks that
Oh,
way.
David, will you repeat that? Because you were breaking up there.
Sure. A restaurant called Whedon, which is a local pizza joint, cocktail bar, amazing thin crust sourdough pizzas. Every pizza is named after a neighborhood. My favorite is the Coney Island. And they also have like an amazing whiskey selection. If you like whiskey, they have 700 different bottles of whiskey.
David, say that place one more time. I missed
Oh
the
my
whiskey
God.
part.
Nobody wants me to shout out Whedon. Whedon, Wheated. Did you get it?
Well, yeah, just the connection is a little wonky, so I'm missing some of what you're saying, unfortunately. So we got Whedon, the pizza joint.
Hold on.
Okay, good. Because I don't want to miss these, because I want to tag them and give some small business love.
All right. I'm gonna have to. Can you see me now?
Yes.
All right. Oh my God, this is horrible.
I can hear you.
Anything, David?
Oh, yes, there you are. Talk to me.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
tell me
God.
about this.
Oh my God,
what
it's
was the
Whedon.
Whedon. Okay,
It's
awesome.
a D at the end.
Okay, cool. I'll look them up and tag those, and they're going to get all the love.
Will they? I don't know. Not from this jumbled up pitch that I've given, but
No, they will. Because we'll tag them and people will go click, and then
oh, good.
they'll
I hope
click
so.
on. Yeah, there you go. Wherever you are is perfect because I can see you and hear you perfectly.
All right, great. I'll try not to move.
I love that. Yeah, don't move. No more moving.
I know. You know, I watched the Dratch one, and I know that she had internet problems too. So at least I'm in good company.
Yes, you are. What an amazing, talented person, right? You did such an amazing. I was so fortunate to get to meet her and you, and like what an amazing cast that was. It's
The
such a
best.
great. Okay, so what other small business do you want to give a shout out to? Anyone else?
They're small, other than Whedon.
Yes.
How about the Drama Bookshop? I mean, all your theater needs, film, television scripts. Everybody go to the Drama Bookshop. And they've just reopened after being closed for a long time. And the renovation is spectacular, and the selection is amazing, and everybody that works there is incredibly smart and informed, and they will give you whatever you need if it involves theater or plays or musicals.
I love it. That's a really great shout out. Okay, so tell me about your musical. Then I want to play a fun little word association game before we go.
Okay. The musical is actually based on a play of mine, an older play of mine called Kimberly Akimbo. The musical is also called Kimberly Akimbo, just to be confusing. But I wrote it with the composer Janine Tesori, who wrote Caroline or Change and Fun Home and lots of amazing musicals. And we first worked together on Shrek, the musical, which was amazing and also very difficult for us.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, let's do this again, but not have a big movie studio involved. And, you know, let's not base it on a movie that everybody knows.
Yeah.
And so we've had just the most amazing time turning this thing into a musical. And
Wow.
it's going to be at the Atlantic starting in November, preview start.
And when have you started rehearsals, or is that happening soon?
No, a couple weeks we'll be in rehearsal.
Amazing. Yay.
I know.
I know. I remember you were talking about this a while ago, so I'm happy that it's happening.
I mean, fingers crossed.
No, that's wonderful. Okay, so this is a fun game, like word association. I'm just going to say some New York words, and then whatever comes out of that genius brain of yours, we'll see.
God.
So let's do a really easy one to start us off. Park.
Park. Prospect Park.
Prospect Park, baby.
Just that way, a couple blocks. I go there and, go around the block, go around the park, get my walk in. It's amazing.
I actually lived I lived in Lefferts Gardens for like 10 years when I first moved to New York. And
I remember you mentioning that.
Prospect Park was one of my favorite places that I would ever go to because that was when I was running all the time, and I know that to go all the way around was 3.35 miles.
Yeah, it is.
And then one of my favorite things in Prospect Park, there's a drum circle right on Ocean Avenue and Lincoln Road that we sometimes be able to hear from our apartment.
We can hear it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know how, but we hear it. And it's several blocks away, but we hear it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's kind of really unique and wonderful. Such a very local event that happens there, which I love.
Love it.
Okay, you mentioned a pizza joint. What about do you have another bar or restaurant? Maybe somewhere in the theater district or a place.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Bar Central is always the go-to. Though we didn't go to Bar Central, did we?
No, we went to Faces and Names a lot.
Oh, right. It's so funny. I was thinking Stars and Stripes, but yes, Faces and Names. That's exactly right. Which was great. We always had a blast there. Yeah,
I hope it's still going. I don't really even know if it's survived, but I'll look them up and I'll tag them. What about Brunch Spot?
Oh, Jesus. I don't go to brunch. That's the worst. No, absolutely not. No, nowhere. I don't do that.
Favorite New York live performance?
Oh, like favorite performance I've seen? Yes.
Favorite?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, God, good Lord, I've seen literally thousands of performances. I mean, the first thing that came to mind, honestly, is Cherry Jones in The Heiress. Like, I was still in college, so it was like 91 maybe. And it was, to this day, it's one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen because it's such a warhorse of a play that should not work at all. And it was one of the most thrilling nights I've ever spent in the theater. And Cherry Jones was like well known then, and it was like, who is this woman in this play and what is happening? It was amazing. I'll never forget it.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. She's wonderful.
The best.
Okay, give me. I got two more for you. A commuting pet peeve.
Commuting.
Commuting.
Yeah.
Pet peeve.
Yeah. If it was computing, it would be bad internet connections. But commuting, I will say people that stand right in front of the doors of a subway car when there's plenty of room inside.
Oh.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't.
They're just in the way, and it feels willful, and it makes me pissed.
I wonder if it's just them taking up as much space as they can. I
don't know what it is, but it's not nice.
Weirdest only. This is the last one. Weirdest only in New York moment.
Oh God. Oh, that's a hard one, Daoud. I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to hang up and come up with so many better ones. But here's one. It was outside Manhattan Theater Club's Broadway house. I think maybe it was called the Biltmore then, but maybe it's called the Samuel J. Friedman. Maybe it was already the Samuel J. Friedman. But they were doing my play, Good People, with Frances McDormand, who is, of course, brilliant. She's an amazing actress. And I was outside the theater at intermission because my mom came down from Boston to watch the play. And so it was intermission. And there's this woman who I know, she's a theater character that always hangs outside theaters saying, do you have an extra ticket? Or she tries to always weasel her way into productions. She's an amazing, a little bit wacky, but an amazing personality. And this woman was hanging outside under the marquee, and she looked like she wanted to engage. And so I made eye contact with her, and she said, "Are you enjoying this?" And she did not know who I was, of course. I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm liking it. Are you not?" And she said, "No, not at all. No, if I wanted to hear people swear at each other and yell at each other, I would just stick my head out the window and listen to my neighbors." So that was already fantastic. But my mother, who's this tough Boston broad,
Was she next to you?
She was standing right next to me. And I was like, "Mom, do not identify me, and do not punch this woman in the mouth," which is what my mother wanted to do, of course. But anyway, I don't think she stayed for the second half.
Oh my God. I mean, you know, I love that. I love that. What an amazing only in New York moment.
It's good. It keeps you humble. Keeps you humble.
Keeps you humble. Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for hanging out. Really, really appreciate it. I love seeing your beautiful face, and let's hang out very soon, like we talked.
I would love that.
Thanks,
David. Thanks for having me, and apologies again for the internet connection. But
no, please. Thank you for sharing your New York with us, and much love to you, and I'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks, brother. See you soon.
All right. Bye. For those of you hanging out, join us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, as we continue the series, The New York Conversation, with our New York friends. If you don't live in New York, come visit us. Come support New York. If you live in New York, go support your local small businesses, because that's what New Yorkers do, right? Thank you, Bon, Conrad. So let's support each other. See you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, bye.